On another episode of the Drift Car Build-Off presented by Spec Clutch and Koyo Rad.
Today's a big day. We're going to rebuild the Vanos system and tackle a few other reliability mods while we're in there. This is going to get exciting here, people, and that's because we've never rebuilt the Vanos system before on an S54 engine. So you're going to be learning with us. We've done a lot of research on it and we've consulted with a lot of experts in the field. And as a matter of fact, some of those experts have helped us with what parts we need to use in the motor. We don't have a check engine code or any Vanos rattle. So really what we're doing here is preventative maintenance to make sure that the engine is running well. We don't want to get too deep into this because it's a rabbit hole that you could go very deep on. Like, why don't we replace the head gaskets while we're at it? And why don't we just put some forged internals in it? It's probably already got forged internals, but you get the point. We don't want to go too crazy since we don't have any major failures here that we're aware of. We just want to make sure that Vanos is working well. And to do that, we have gone to the Vanos Systems solutions, which they have a bunch of. There's actually 3 major Vanos failure points on this motor. One of them being this solenoid coil pack system at the front here, but that'll throw a check engine light, which we don't have. So we know we don't need to replace that. Their solution is actually only $150, which is really affordable though. So it's tempting to upgrade it while we're in here, but then the bills just start to add up. So we're just gonna fix what we think we need to fix. Starting with the seals. So these seals are known to go bad over time, and this being such a high mileage engine, we're gonna replace all the Vanos seals with the Vanos ones. And that would, if these were leaking, by the way, you would experience like very lazy Vanos. So you'd have like performance loss with it, but it won't necessarily throw a check engine light. So we're thinking that this is just a good refresh concept. We also have their upper chain guide replacement unit. That's known to be a problem on these motors. So we figured while we're in there, we'll throw this in. It's a cheap, easy fix. They also make this Vanos oil pump disc. Those are a smaller diameter than the factory ones. And that apparently fixes the problem with the exhaust cam hub sprocket rattling and breaking off the 2 tabs on it. So we'll obviously have a close look at ours to see if there's any sign of damage to it, but this will prevent that from being damaged in the future. And while we're in there, we've got other gaskets and stuff. We have all these tools, by the way, which are specialty tools required for the job. Ian from Braycross was kind enough to send us his personal tools for this job. So thank you very much, Ian. You're a legend.
Thank you.
He's also sent us a ton of good information on these motors and these cars, so he's been a huge asset. Bennett Hack Engineering, who we've mentioned before, was also kind enough to send us a replacement line. This is like the oil feed line for the solenoid system. So it replaces this hard line, I think, Pete? Is that the one there?
That's the one, yep.
So you can see.
And those are prone to cracking, so he's actually eliminated it by making this flexible one, right?
Nice braided line. And our friends at Buds BMW in Oakville, Ontario, have given us a great price on a whole bunch of OE parts. So these are like the seals that
which we need for the Vanos stuff too, so.
True. So they hooked us up with a great price on a whole bunch of stuff that we need. Washers, even this hose that Moose may or may not have broken during the removal process of this motor. So I think that covers all the bits and pieces that are gonna go into this job. Now it's time to pop the valve cover off here and see what
work.
Yeah, see what we're dealing with. Fasteners removed, and let's pop this puppy off.
Looks much
Just
like
the
our
bottom end, eh?
bottom end, yeah.
She is well baked.
Yeah, someone was actually mentioning that the long intervals with the Castrol 10W60 oil do create a lot of this residue.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Interesting.
So we'll definitely change that up. We're not going to run the long oil intervals.
Yeah, the oil question is an interesting one, and this motor runs a really heavy oil.
10W60.
60 weight. That's kind of blows my mind. And as far as oil choices go, are we going to stick with the Castrol stuff? Or?
I don't know. I'm still doing a little bit of research on that. I'm trying to find out if Valvoline offers some, and if not, we'll go to our next best choice.
All right.
We'll figure that out.
Now it's time to get into the Vanos system itself. We should mention that Vanos Systems has extremely detailed instructions on their website about how to install all of their parts. So rather than going through it step by step with you guys and pretending that we know what we're doing, we'll just show you a time lapse of what we're doing, and we're going to just follow along with their instructions as best we can here, and hopefully all goes smoothly.
So far, the B-Sand instructions have been very accurate, and we've removed the lower valve body there, and now we are on to actually removing the Vanos system. And it's super intriguing to see how the system is made and how it connects to the cams through these two little shafts here on the intake and exhaust side. Super neat. And right now what I'm doing is just taking it off on the intake side, and then we'll move on to the other side. But very cool stuff.
This, my friends, is the secret to all your top-end horsepower. Vanos says, or as I like to call it, VTEC.
BMW VTEC.
It's your variable valve timing control unit, and if we turn it around here, we can see this is your exhaust side, which is where the whole oiling system runs out of. It's powered by your exhaust cam, I guess you could say, and this guy here is what we showed you earlier. This is the Bessian part that we're going to swap in, so we're going to pop this out now, and we'll show you the difference between the two. Now that we've got the factory oil pump disc out and I've compared it to the B-Sand one side by side, I have a better understanding of what he's done to address the problems here. I think off the top I mentioned that there's these holes on the inside here that they made smaller on the B-Sand system, but that's actually not what he made smaller. These holes here that position the disc on the cam sprocket, like so, have quite a bit of play in them. And that puts stress on these tabs, and these tabs actually break off, and you lose Vanos. Well, you lose pump pressure, and therefore you lose Vanos. What he's done here is he's actually, I think, taken an original one, which has the same size holes here and here as here and here, and then he's drilled smaller ones on the I don't know, opposites, I guess you could say, that fit much tighter on here. So when I put it on, it's got no slop at all. And that obviously takes all of the stress off of those tabs. You're not going to run into that problem anymore. That's a really smart, simple fix.
I've got to say that wasn't too difficult a job. It's a little intimidating with taking all this stuff apart, but once you get the hang of it, and the instructions are so good that B-Sand's provided, I mean, everything is great in that sense. So we've got our oil pump disc back in, and it is smooth, working well. So now we're going to move on to doing the seals, and you can see this is the plate that comes on the bottom of the Vanos system, and these are rock hard. So we're going to be replacing this, as well as a lot of the other gaskets from the B-Sand kit that are in here. I am just amazed at how hard the seal is on, I guess this is just like the piston on inside the Vanos system.
Yep.
And check this out, in the light, it's just like, it feels more like plastic. It doesn't feel like rubber, like it's just gone so hard, which is why these are always replaced. Here's the rubber one on the inside. It was a little bit better, but still not great. And you can, as you can see, the new ones from B-Sand are way superior, and obviously are going to last for a much longer time. So I am glad we are doing this, because this will bring all the performance back to our Vanos system. I think that just about wraps up our entire Vanos rebuild. So we've got the lower piece with the solenoid done. We've got the, like, I guess, metal gasket with the new O-rings in, and obviously the new oil pump disc in place with all of the B-Sand O-rings replaced. So I think that is officially done. However, we won't be putting this back on in this episode, and that's because on the next episode, we actually have to address a couple other wear items, and that is the timing chain guide that usually needs to be replaced. So that will come in the next episode. I should say this job isn't that difficult to do. The instructions are absolutely fabulous. B-San has done an amazing job, so we just followed right along. There was really no moment that you were like, oh, I don't know what to do. The pictures show you, and if you did have one of those moments where you're like, oh, is this what I'm supposed to do? The instructions literally said, okay, this is what you need to do, and if you can't do this, do it this way. So amazing job on it. As I said, if you're looking to do this job, have confidence in the instructions on his site. They will work 100%. In the next episode, we are going to get to lots more work on this S54. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, make sure to subscribe, and check out speedacademy.shop for some merchandise.